Okay, so one of the great things about hosting the Kim Komando Show is that I get to have an impact, and it's a blessing, really, to have an impact on so many people's lives. And I especially enjoy when I can get personally involved and make a huge difference. And back in September, a gentleman called the show. His name was David, and he's here in Phoenix. And he explained to me that his stepson, David 2, as we came to know them as David 1 and David 2 here at the show, is that David 2 is 14 years old, a straight A student, and because of a spinal defect is that he's going to be limited to a wheelchair for the rest of his life. And David 1 explained to me that the only time that he really sees David 2 happy is when he's playing video games. And so David 1 called and really wanted to know the best way to configure a gaming computer because they don't have a lot of money, but they wanted to be able to build it themselves. And so I invited David 1 and 2 over to the studios, and they met with Chris Wojno, who's our director of IT, and they configured the gaming computer. And then David 1 called back the show to let me know that they really enjoyed all that. And then that's when I explained that it'd be my Christmas present to David 2 if I would be able to actually purchase all the components for him. So I purchased all the components that they needed for the gaming computer. And then Chris was so kind. He came down to the conference room with David 1 and David 2, as you see on the video, and actually showed both of them how to build a gaming computer. I think Chris probably spent about 3 or 4 hours with them. And then David 2 came over and he picked it up, and it was so kind that David 2 sent me this great thank you card. I don't know if we have a copy of it on the video, but just a really heartfelt card about what this means to him and everything that he learned, and what a blessing it was for him to be able to get the computer. But I'll tell you, he's a great kid. And he was not happy, by the way, Andrew, when he came over to the studios because he really wanted to meet you.
What?
Yes, David 2 really wanted to meet you because if you notice, he's wearing a Cardinal sweatshirt.
And well, yeah, he's a logical person, obviously.
Yes, and he's a real Cardinals fan. And unfortunately, you know, he asked me who my favorite player was, and I said Marshawn Lynch, and he laughed.
First of all, we have a new one for you.
Oh, there's a thank you card from David. It's just very, very nice. It is.
That's nice of you too, Kim.
Well, you know what? I love there's nothing better than a handwritten thank you card. I mean,
Did you circle the price on the back of it?
No, he doesn't.
I know, because you do.
I do. Whenever I buy a card for somebody, I just think it's funny just to circle the price. And then there's a crown, and I say, oh, it's your crown for the day. So anyway, so it's just very, very nice. And we gave David 1 and David 2 a Kim's Club membership. And so if you guys are watching.
Are they in the chat room?
Hopefully that if you're not watching live, you can watch it over the weekend. But and let us know how that gaming computer's going on.
That's so nice of Chris, too.
You know what? I'll tell you, Chris spent a lot of time in configuring the computer and helping them putting it all together because, you know, the way that David 1 explained it to me, and I don't think this was on the air, I think when they came over to visit the studios, is that they were going to buy, like, the memory, and then they were going to buy the memory card, you know,
sure.
Then the hard drive, and he was hoping that he'd be able to afford it, like, within a year. And so it was like, okay,
Merry Christmas.
we can do it. Merry Christmas to you,
awesome.
David 1 and David 2.